I'm delighted to see you in the chair. Mr. President, I move private members' business item number 1172 relating to the establishment of a Royal Commission into the CFMEU General Division, which stands in my name. Mr. President, earlier today, the Leader of the government espoused the virtues of what the government had done in relation to the revelations made by the Nine Media Group in relation to activity by the CFMEU in Victoria, and in fact articulated a number of steps which they'd taken, including no longer accepting affiliation fees, no longer accepting donations, referring the CFMEU to the Industrial Relations Commissioner, seeking orders for the appointment of an administrator. And all of that was articulated as virtuous. We are, in fact, a government which is proactive in respect of ensuring that we take our responsibilities of fighting corruption seriously. Well, nothing can be further from the truth. This is a government that does not take this issue seriously, because if they did, there's a number of things which they would have done in respect of their relationship with the CFMEU, including potentially giving up or donating to charity or those affiliation and fees and donation fees which they had received from the CFMEU. That would have been good. That would have been an indication that this was a government who was actually committed to sending a message that they will not be involved with any union activity which in fact is associated with corruption. But the second thing they could have done, in fact, is called a Royal Commission into the CFMEU and its activities, because one of the things this government does is espouse the benefits that we want to actually deliver cheaper housing and construction projects for the people of New South Wales. That's what we want to do. That's what they come out and tell us, that they are a government committed to good outcomes, cheaper housing, get young first home buyers into housing as quickly as possible. Well, if you're adding 20% to the cost because of deals which you do with the CFMEU, well then that is just hot air and words. So to the extent that they come in here and want to say we are a virtuous government dealing with corruption in a way which is responsible by a government faced with these sort of allegations, then it is just words. So what could they have done? Because the appointment of administrator, what will it do? It will, in fact, look at the current management of the union. It will look at how we clean up those people who may have criminal connections, make sure that they hold no responsibility. But one thing it won't do is look back at those past activities of this union to establish whether, in fact, any of those past activities are, in fact, corrupt activities which should be referred to other authorities. There is only one way you can do that, and that's the establishment of a Royal Commission with powers to investigate, call witnesses, and in fact compel the production of documents and the like. That would be an indication that this is a government actually committed to stamping this sort of practice out. But no, that's the last thing they want to do, because when they come to power federally, what do? First thing, get rid of the ABCC, because that's an organisation which is in fact charged with looking at exactly this sort of behaviour. Well, what do they do in New South Wales? We start to dismantle the Construction Compliance Unit. Ongoing from the previous government was the review of the guidelines in respect of how this unit would operate, its powers and its, in fact, the manner in which it is staffed. What does the minister do when she comes to power? The first thing she does is start to dismantle it, get rid of the review of the guidelines, because we don't want anyone looking at our mates. Our mates are sacrosanct. They come first. The people of New South Wales come second, because that's the only thing that they understand. That's the virtue signalling that they should be getting up here and talking about, because that's what they should be known for. This is a government which is on the nose. And if they don't do this sort of thing, then this is an indication of a stench which underpins every single deal which they do, because they're not prepared to have an investigation which looks at the past practices of their relationships with their union mates, especially their construction industry union mates.
The Treasurer. The government opposes the motion. We've made it absolutely clear that there is no tolerance for criminal or corrupt behaviour in businesses, in the public service, in unions, or in the construction industry at large. It's fair to say that the allegations concerning the conduct at the CFMEU Construction and General Division have been deeply concerning. The allegations that have emerged from Victoria, but equally the information that's arisen in respect to New South Wales. That is why the government's already taken the strongest possible actions, which include making an application to the New South Wales Industrial Court to put the CFMEU Construction and General Division into administration, announcing that we will be introducing legislation to establish an administrator to remove any doubt about the validity and speed of the appointment of an administrator. Of course, referring all allegations of inappropriate behaviour on New South Wales construction sites that the government has received to the government's construction compliance unit, and equally, we have established a process in which any allegations about any federal EBA that has been entered into that requires further investigation is brought to the attention of the Fair Work Ombudsman, because they are the ones with legislative powers to examine such matters. A Royal Commission would be unnecessary and superfluous when the New South Wales Government and the Federal Government are already taking decisive actions to address these allegations. Let me just take the opportunity to remind the member who moved the motion that a Royal Commission was called into trade union governance and corruption in 2014-2015. It was led by Justice Dyson Hayden, who, as it all turns out, has then required a subsequent investigation into himself. And I also make the point that, yes, the Trade Union Royal Commission did hear and did spend a lot of its time looking into former Prime Minister Gillard's building renovations from 20 years previous. And yes, they did. I also had the opportunity to give evidence about printers' bills. And in fact, I gave hours of evidence about printers' bills for a commission that was called into corruption. And so I would simply point out that that particular exercise was about $100 million. And equally, I'd also point out to the decade that preceded it to the Coal Royal Commission, which was also about the same cost. So all of which is my way of saying is that the strategies that the member advocates for have been tried. I should also just point out that when these allegations in respect to New South Wales first arose, the actual Industrial Relations Minister was the person now moving the motion. And it's fair to say that at no point was any action taken in that respect. We are putting in administration not to defeat the principles of trade unionism, not to treat it as a union bashing, but to treat it fairly before law. And I would simply say this as a Labor politician who believes firmly in the value of trade unions. Corruption-free trade unions is obviously a prerequisite for the public support we wish to engender for trade unionism. The actions we are taking are designed to get a result quick.
The Treasurer's time has expired. The Honourable Mark Latham.